So you're welcome to the episode of Victim Not Victim YouTube series, Ma. I'm really excited that you are joining me for this interview. Thank you so much. Our big auntie Tola is joining me, and I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much, Ma. Okay, so let me quickly introduce you so that I can get to the interview proper. Tola Dehinde is an author, blogger, and columnist. She worked for the BBC for 23 years, from sales and marketing to a career coach to being a freelance reporter. She was a school governor. She worked at a female London prison. Then she started a charity for the welfare of foreign nationals in UK prisons. She has worked as a relationship, parenting, and career counselor, 3 different jobs for 3 different companies. Then she's a magistrate in the family and adult criminal court. Now she's currently an author. Her new book is titled How to Live with Sickle Cell. She's an author, a blogger, and columnist. Thank you so much. You've done a whole lot, a whole lot. How were you able to put all of this together with sickle cell? But let me not go ahead of myself. I will still get there. So kindly share with us. Introduce yourself to us briefly, and then share with us your sickle cell journey, Ma.
Okay. All right. Well, for me, thank you so much for having me. We've been talking for quite a while, since last year, so it's great to be on your show this afternoon. Yes. Thanks for inviting me. About myself, I think you said it all. I think you said it all at the introduction. And when I write it down, it really doesn't mean anything. But when people say it, I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
How did I manage all this? Seriously, with sickle cell, I don't know. It just had to be God.
Wow.
It really had to be God.
Like, I was reading it and I'm like, this is so unreal. Like, with sickle cell, like, how is he able to bring all of these things together? Wow.
I know.
Okay.
It has to be God's grace, because it couldn't have been me, because as you know, sickle cell is there. It's not as if sickle cell comes and goes or anything. Of course, maybe we might have moments where we're not sick for a period of time, and I think those times when I was doing those jobs, I was enjoying those periods of not being sick a lot of the times. And I just thought, yes, Tola, you can achieve, you can do, you can, jump from roof to roof and stuff like that. So I did the best that I could at those times. Yes.
Wow. So kindly share with us your growing up story, your experience with sickle cell, diagnosis. When did you get to know? Was it from birth, or what was it like growing up with sickle cell, Ma?
Right. Okay. Well, yes, for me, it was from birth. My parents married, didn't check their genotype, the usual story. And I'm the 3rd out of 4, and I'm the one with sickle cell.
Wow.
And my mom says that my mom was a nurse, and so for a while I was upset with my mom because I felt she should have known better. I think we all have that when we're upset. But we're very, very okay now. I've gone past that. But so she said she would notice that as a baby, within a few months of me, coming into the world, swollen hands, swollen feet, swollen hands, swollen feet. And she was like, what's going on with this child? And that I would cry a lot, obviously, having sickle cell pains and everything. So eventually, they referred me to Great Ormond Street Hospital, which is a children's hospital in London. And there they did the blood test, and that's how they found out that I had sickle cell. So, that's how the journey started right from the onset. So I've always grown knowing that I had sickle cell. I've never kind of maybe enjoyed like what you had, where you found out a bit later, but then maybe the sickness was there, you knew there was something different, but you couldn't tell. But for me, I knew from the onset, I grew with it. How was it like growing up? To be frank with you, it was okay because I was spoiled, Everybody could get into trouble, but if Tola did it, Tola wouldn't get into trouble. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I have these childhood stories where I remember that if my older siblings wanted something from my parents, they will ask Tola to go and
They will
ask.
come through you. That's interesting.
They'll tell me to go and ask, because if they ask, they might get shouted at. If I ask, it would just be a simple no, Tola, So yes, but of course I was sick. I'm painting a lovely picture because I did grow up in a lovely family. Everybody was concerned about me. And now that I'm much older, I look back for me at that situation, and I just think I can't imagine what it must have been like for everyone in the house, especially when I had the crisis, because back then I would cry because my mom was a nurse. She would look after me at home. So I didn't go to hospital. I wasn't given any of these morphine injections that we get now, all of that. And so I would cry the house down. And I really don't know how everybody in the house coped with this young child, that would cry and cry and cry. And so that's how it was in my family. Lots of care, lots of love, lots of protection, lots of my mom making sure that I ate the things that she felt were good for me to eat. I couldn't say no to those kind of foods. She would make sure, Tola, you have to eat this, you have to eat that. So I've grown up being a choosy, fussy eater. And I always say it's my mom's fault because she forced me. Now that I can say no to food, I will say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how it's been.
Wow. It was such a beautiful growing up story. I love the fact that you had everything you wanted and you were spoiled and everybody had to go through you to get whatever they wanted. So how was it like? How did you transit into career? What was the start of your career like, Ma?
Well, so my childhood was spent all over the world because my father was an ambassador.
Oh.
So we lived all over the world, and eventually we went back to Lagos. But I was born in London, so eventually I came back by myself. And it was when I came here, obviously being by myself, no parents. In fact, when I was coming over for me, some of my uncles told my mom they shouldn't send me because I was so spoiled in Lagos that Tola doesn't know how to do anything. Tola isn't going to be able to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I came. So when I came, the first job I got was a sales assistant job. This was me at the age of 21, over 3 decades ago. And I did it for a few months, and I knew with my health, this is not a job for me. This is not a job that I can do standing on my feet for hours in a day. So I then decided quickly that the best thing for me to do is to go and train and learn office skills, typing, computing, filing, all of that, so that I can get to work in an office. And for me, that's what I did for, I think about, maybe it was a 6 to 8 months course, from when I arrived, I did that. And after doing that, I initially got a short-term job with a company that were selling tools. And then I went to register with an employment agency. And the following week, they called me and they said I should come and do some temporary work at the BBC. And initially, I was like, I don't want to do any temporary work. I'm looking for permanent. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to show off, but an aunt of mine persuaded me to go. And I went in as a temp, and I stayed there for 23 years.
For 23 years, I saw that. Wow.
And that's how my career journey started, because everything I did, I was still at the BBC. So everything else that I did work-wise was part-time or freelance. Studying, going to university was part-time in the evenings, stuff like that. My BBC was my main anchor, my secure job. And I look back and I think to myself, God knew that this girl couldn't stress not having a job, being by herself in this country, or having to get one job today, not having job security. And God just made it possible for me to have a job back then.
So were there challenges along the line? Okay, you went back to UK on your own, you were by yourself. Were there challenges? Were there period where, okay, it's a strange land and okay, maybe you were born there, it wasn't totally strange, but your family were not there. Were there periods like that? Were you able to overcome such?
It was a strange land for me, as you said. It was a strange land because when I was here initially, I was with my parents, and my siblings. So here I am at the age of 21, coming back by myself. So it was strange to me. There were challenges. I was speaking to someone earlier on this afternoon, and I was just sharing a bit about myself. And I said, when I first arrived, for me, the first year, today being Thursday, if they discharged me from hospital today, by next Thursday, I was back in hospital again. I was 1 week in, 1 week out, 1 week in, 1 week out. The family that I was staying with at the time were telling my parents, Tola cannot stay in London. Tola cannot survive in London. Tola has to come back home, because I was always sick. I don't know. I came at a time where, not that now, because I'm used to it, September, it's not that cold compared to December, January, February. But I guess maybe coming from the heat, it was cold for me. And then maybe not being with my family. It was my first year in this country was stressful.
Wow.
I was in hospital more than I was at home, if you know what I'm saying.
Wow.
At home being the place where I was staying. So yeah, there were challenges there. And of course, there will be challenges of not being with your family. You understand, when I have to go into hospital.
Yes, that's the
who's gonna
part.
go with me? Who's gonna go with me? But the beauty about it is, for me, I look back and I say, well, at least thankfully I could call an ambulance.
Okay.
So when I had a crisis, I could call an ambulance that would take me to hospital. Because back then you had to be admitted. Now the hospital is still there, but they have a day clinic. So now I don't get admitted. Thank God, I don't get admitted. I just go to if I, sleep, there's pain in the middle of the night. You know how it is. We have pain sometimes at night, and I would wake up. Then what I would do is just take myself to the pain clinic. I'll call them. There's a procedure before I go. So I'll either just call a taxi or I have a friend who lives nearby, and I'll call her and she'll just come and pick me up and take me there.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So it was a roller coaster kind of thing, in today, in the hospital tomorrow, and all that. So I saw the new book, and is it out? Is it out, Auntie Tola? Oh, okay, so it's finally out.
It's out, in fact, 3 books for me.
Wow, Godly Declaration, Prayer Personified, How to Live with Sickle Cell.
So How to Live with Sickle Cell,
wow.
Prayer Personified, and
then Godly Declarations. Wow. 3 at the same time?
So yeah.
At the same time?
No. But in the last 8 months. So it's been exhausting.
How were you able to do that?
I don't know how I do these things. I don't. A friend was saying to me, in 8 months.
8 months.
How do you do it? I don't know. Wow. I don't know,
Wow. I've been trying to write one for like the past 2 years now. The manuscript is still not in shape. Wow.
For me, it's not easy. It's not easy. And I'll tell you, if someone has actually asked me, how did I do it?
Wow.
And I said, I can't tell you. I can't.
Wow.
I just know I did it. Do you know what
it
I'm
must
saying?
be great.
You know,
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
when you're stumbling into things, you're falling, you're thinking, I can't do it. And then something props you up and say, oh yeah, move again, move again,
It
move.
must be
You know,
great.
so it's great. That's
It's
what I'm
great.
saying.
It's
It's
great.
great. It really
Wow.
is God's grace. You know?
Wow. Wow. This is really interesting. So, how to live with sickle cell? What was the motivation to write that? To write a book
Okay,
on how to live with sickle cell?
sure. I mean, the thing is, I've always loved writing.
Okay.
And I've always written, I've always journaled, you know, I've always kept a diary year in, year out, and stuff like that. I've always enjoyed communicating on email and writing things. And then I think about 5, 6 years ago now, I said to a cousin of mine, I just mentioned it to her that I would love to write about sickle cell in Punch newspaper. And then she said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yes." You know, and I didn't know. You know, when you talk and it's the right time and you're saying the right thing to the right person, and I didn't realize that she knew one of the daughters of the late Abodering, you know, and so there and then she just called the lady up, passed the phone to me. I told the lady, and she said I should send her an email, a resume about myself, which I did. And I didn't hear anything for months. And then eventually they came back to me and someone said, start sending your story. Your column has been approved. And in fact, I thought it was a 419 because I'd forgotten about it. You understand?
Wow.
So I started writing every week. I started writing. And then in the last 2 years, I've had people say, you know, when I send my columns out, now that you and I are talking on WhatsApp, I'll send it to you, you know. So in the last 2 years, when I send it out to people, people are like, Tola, there is so much information. You say so much. You've got enough material for a book. Write a book. Write a book. You know, I kept getting friends pressurizing me. You know, I have an uncle who's in his 80s in Lagos. You know, he would read Punch newspaper on Saturday, sometimes call me and say, well done, I'm so proud of you, but you need to put all this
All this
knowledge down.
together.
You need to put
Yeah.
it, you know, into a book. And so I finally thought, okay, because I kept thinking, a book, can I write a book? I'm not sure I can write a book, you know. So I thought, okay, so last year with lockdown and all that, I thought, okay, I'm going to do writing courses, you know, because for me, if I do something, I want to do it with the spirit of excellence.
Yes, yes. I love that.
So I thought, okay, I'll do writing courses. So I think from April till August or April, yeah, August, yeah, I did 3 writing courses, different kinds, just to motivate myself. And when I finished, I then thought, everyone is saying, Tola, write a sickle cell, your sickle cell book, because you've been talking about sickle cell, but I equally blog. You know, first and foremost, I'm a child of the Most High God. And I thought I wanted to give honor to God for keeping me alive. You understand? For me, for keeping me alive, for making it possible to share my story, because if it wasn't God, I wouldn't have been able to do all the things that I've done so far. So I thought, okay, let me write a Christian book first. Let me just use the Christian book to test the waters. And that was prayer personified. And so I wrote that. And after I wrote that, then, you know, I believe that the Spirit of the living God said to me that, Tola, write a book on godly declarations, because some people don't know to pick up the Bible and look for declarations in the Bible. Write something, you know, about sickness, about children, about family, about work, about life, you know. So I then wrote godly declarations. It was almost as if I was using that to test writing how to live with sickle cell. So when I finally did that, I thought, okay, Tola, now you have to write your sickle cell book. Now that's the next
Now
step.
it's time. Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's when I did,
Wow.
and it came out last month. Yeah.
Wow. 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 I am learning a whole lot from you. We are in a generation where somehow people don't give attention to details and excellence again. They just literally
Yes.
throw it out of the window. You mentioned it, and I'm penning it down. Before you got the BBC job, you decided
Yes.
that sales wasn't for you. What will you have to do? You went to take a course. You took an 8-month course. To
Yes.
write a book, you decided to take about 3 courses on writing
Yes.
alone. I was in a
Yes.
conversation with Auntie Tola yesterday night. He said, okay, we were deciding on the time. You said for the next 7 weeks, you were going to do a course in the evening that was
Yes.
going to take
I'm
your
starting
evening.
another one tonight.
And
Yes.
everybody will be like, okay, Auntie Tola has attended so much. You are in a bigger position. Why will you still be taking courses? And they will lose out on opportunities because they don't have the necessary skill that is
Yeah.
needed to, and they give excuses. They make it look like, oh, if not for the sickle cell, if not for
Yeah.
this disease that I have, I would have done so much and all that. Despite having the disorder, you are still taking your courses. Whenever you develop an interest in something, you want to have a certification to it. And that chews
Yes.
me a lot, Auntie Tola. That chews me a whole lot. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So to wrap it up, I want to
Yeah.
know, what would you like to say to sickle cell warriors? People see more of the challenges. They literally carry it in the face, in the head, and be like, it's because of sickle cell. I'm not able to take up a career that I love because of
Yeah.
sickle cell. I'm not able
Yeah.
to attain so much because of sickle cell. I want to really do a degree, but because of sickle cell. What would you
Yeah.
like to say to us? What would you
Yeah.
like to say to, okay, let's start from warriors first, advice to warriors first, then we can now take it to their caregivers or anyone that has a teen or two to do with sickle cell warriors. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that question. You're right, because sometimes we can be in the pity party lane, you know.
Pity party
You
lane.
know, yeah. Oh, feel sorry for me. I've got sickle cell.
Sickle cell.
But I think it's important to pursue your passion,
Mm.
whatever your passion is. And so what I because next week, funnily enough for me, I'll be speaking on career and sickle cell at the African Sickle Cell
African
African
conference.
Congress.
Yeah.
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 And so for me, one thing I want to look at is what is stopping warriors from achieving their best in
Mm.
terms of career, in terms of having more warriors in the workplace.
Mm.
And when I thought deeply about it, I felt that one of the things is the issue of self-confidence.
Mm.
You know, Oprah Winfrey said something, and I'm just going to quote it to you. It says, passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you. There has to be something that excites you. What excites you might not excite me, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, so I think the first thing is to make sure that we deal with issues to do with self-confidence, low self-esteem,
Mm. Mm.
because
Mm.
a lot of warriors have that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of warriors have that. And it's about rising above those feelings, because they're not real. They're feelings inside of you that are not necessarily real. Yes, you have sickle cell. Yes, you know, I live with sickle cell, but it doesn't, I say to people, sickle cell doesn't define who Tola is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Objective.
understand?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even know that I have sickle cell, except if I'm sick for a long time. And then they're like, really? You have sickle cell? Because of all the things
You
you
do.
do.
You do. Yeah.
So and who can limit you except you? Nobody else can limit you. So we're talking, you read the things I've done. It was because I didn't put any limit on myself. Despite sickle cell, in 3 months, I've written 3 books. Again, because I didn't put any limit on myself. Have I not been sick in the 8 months? Of course I have. Of course I have, but I get up and I go. When I'm sick, I just leave it. I don't do anything. I don't stress about it. I don't worry. I'm like, okay, this thing is here now. Tola, just ride the storm. And once it's over, I'm back running again. I'm back running again. And so back to that question about people with sickle cell getting jobs. So they have the issues of confidence that they need to deal with. They have the issues of low self-esteem that they need to deal with. Also, for me, there's equally the issue about employers not wanting to employ people with sickle cell.
Sickle cell, yes.
That's a major one. And that can be discouraging, for the average warrior. And I understand that. However, I know for a fact that when an employer employs someone who is living with an illness, they will be more loyal. They will stay. If you treat them well, they will stay. So employers too have a role. It's a dual thing, except of course, if it's a situation whereby the warrior wants to start their own thing and be their own boss, and there are so many jobs out there that people can do. They can be a nail technician, if that's a passion for them, logo and banner manager, hall decorator, teacher, because yes, it's you're standing on your feet, but you've got the holidays. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hairdresser, author like myself, blogger, social worker, because you have empathy already. For people. You already are also going, web designer, project manager. There's so many jobs that we can do. Computer analyst, graphic designer. And these are jobs where you could do it, either you're working for yourself or you contract. So it's short-term contract. So maybe at the end of the contract, you feel you need a break that maybe a permanent job wouldn't give you. Then you can give yourself that break and then go back onto job hunting again. So I believe very much that it is whoever is listening to me today, the warrior, who needs to say and be determined within them to want to achieve. I can wish you well. I can give you all the support. But if you don't have the energy within you to get up and go for me, it won't happen. It won't happen. So it's important for the warrior to speak to themselves and say, look, despite all these obstacles that could be in my way, I'm still going to achieve what I want. Because look at me, I came to this country with no family.
No family, yes.
And all the jobs that I've done, they've been done in this country. I didn't go back to Nigeria to do them. I did them here. All the certificates, education, they've been here. So you have to want to achieve something, and you have to have that inner drive to say to yourself, I will succeed in life. I will succeed, irrespective of sickle cell. Sickle cell is not going to stop me from my ambition, from my dreams, or from, even if it's just from having a career. What's the career? I'm a teacher. I'm a doctor. Whatever it is that you want to pursue, don't allow sickle cell to limit you, because sickle cell is an external factor. You speak to the inside of you and tell yourself, I can do it. It might take time because maybe sometimes you'll be sick, which is fair enough, but you can do it.
You can do it.
So that would be my advice to, warriors out there.
Wow, 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 wow. That's so much. Start with self-confidence. And Tola, thank you. Thank you so much. I think that's actually where to start, because a number of people are dealing with all of these self-issue because of sickle cell. They don't want to face the world. They feel like the world is unfair to them and all that. And I keep telling anyone I'm opportune to meet, I'm like, okay, we all were in that phase at one point or the other. I was smiling really well when you said you were offended at your mom that, you're a nurse, why wouldn't you do it? My mom wasn't a nurse, but I was still offended, like it's unfair. Why would you choose this kind of life to me? But that was a phase. You shouldn't stay in that phase for so long. You should leave that phase and move on with, okay, life has offered this, then what next? Then let's take what, then you said, be determined to want to achieve. And that's really major. It doesn't even matter what we are saying on Victor and not Victim. It doesn't matter what Auntie Tola keeps posting on Punch newspaper if you don't want to be encouraged, nobody can do that for you. So your own role is being determined to say, I want to set out to achieve my vision and passion, and I want to get it down. So I want to know, thank you so much for these insights you shared with us, Ma. It's been really helpful and I enjoyed myself. So how do we access your book, Ma? What's
right.
I'm interested particularly in that part of Godly Declaration.
Yes, my books are available on Amazon.
On Amazon, okay.
On Amazon. So if you want to buy Kindle or paperback on Amazon.
Okay.
But I think in Nigeria, you say soft copy. Soft copy to download is available on Okada Books.
On Okada Books, okay.
On
Amazon.
Okada Books.
Okay.
Yes, on Okada Books. So you can download it onto your phone, tablet, laptop.
Okay.
If you log onto Okada Books, then you can download it there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the two places for now.
Wow.
So you can get hold of my books.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed sitting with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I know you're a very busy person. Thank you for granting me your time, Ma. I did not take it for granted. Thank you so much.
It's been lovely talking to you and spending this afternoon with you for me. I've really enjoyed it myself. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, Ma. So let me not take your time further. Take care of yourself, Ma.
I will. You take good care too. Bye-bye.
All right, Ma. Yes, Ma.
Bye.